Are you staring at a self-assessment tax bill that feels, well, completely impossible to pay? It is a moment of pure stress, I know. But what if I told you there's a clear, manageable path forward? In this guide, brought to you by the experts at Pro Tax Accountant, we're going to break down exactly how to set up a self-assessment payment plan and, take back control of your finances. Let's get right into it.
Oh, it's that sinking feeling, isn't it? You've done all the hard work, you've filed your tax return, and then that final number just lands with a thud. For freelancers and small business owners all across the UK, this is the moment that quiet dread kicks in. It's a thought that crosses thousands of minds every single year.
And honestly, that feeling is exactly why the team at Pro Tax Accountant put this guide together. They see this play out all the time, and they absolutely know that with the right information, you can turn that initial panic into a solid, actionable plan.
Okay, first things first, if you've been hit with a surprisingly big tax bill, you are so far from alone. It's an incredibly common situation. Ironically, it often happens after a really good year. More income means more tax, and if you haven't been putting enough aside, that success can suddenly feel like a punishment. Let's look at a very relatable example.
So meet Sarah. She's a brilliant graphic designer down in Bristol who took the brave leap into self-employment last year. She's been fantastic at winning clients, her business is growing, but she's still kind of getting to grips with all the financial admin. She did everything right, filed her return before the deadline, thinking she had it all covered.
And this is the number that popped up on her screen. £18,500. Wow. For a new business where cash flow is everything and every single penny counts, paying this entire amount by January 31st feels completely impossible. Sarah's story is just a classic example of how even with great earnings, a lump sum tax bill can create just this immense stressful pressure.
Now, when you're faced with a bill like Sarah's, the very human temptation is to just ignore it, right? Close the laptop, pretend it doesn't exist. But listen, that is the absolute worst thing you can do. Taking no action is only going to make the situation way more expensive and so much more stressful down the line. Let's see exactly why.
So what really happens if you just don't pay? Well, HMRC's system is automated and it is unforgiving. It all kicks off with an initial £100 penalty. But trust me, that's just the start. After that, daily and then monthly penalties start to stack up. And on top of all that, interest starts building on the entire unpaid amount. A problem that was manageable can quickly snowball into a really serious debt. Burying your head in the sand is simply not a strategy.
But here is the really good news. There is a formal, government-approved solution designed for this exact situation. It's a lifeline from HMRC, and it can give you immediate relief and a clear, structured path forward. It's called a time-to-pay arrangement.
So a self-assessment payment plan, which is officially known as a time-to-pay arrangement, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's an agreement you make with HMRC to pay your tax bill in smaller, monthly chunks over a set period, usually up to 12 months. This system is brilliant. It turns that overwhelming lump sum into a predictable part of your monthly budget. It helps you meet your obligations without completely derailing your finances. It's all about regaining control.
Now, HMRC has made setting up a plan easier than ever with this great online tool, designed to get you sorted without even needing to pick up the phone. But not everyone can use it. There are specific criteria you've got to meet, so stay with me. This next point is crucial for understanding your options.
Okay, let's run through this checklist. To use the online service, your bill has to be £30,000 or less. You also must be within 60 days of the payment deadline. This is a super critical window. You absolutely must have filed your latest tax return. HMRC won't talk about a payment plan until they know exactly what you owe. And finally, you can't have any other outstanding debts or active plans with them. If you can tick all these boxes, you can probably get your plan set up online in just a few minutes. Pretty good, right?
So what happens if you don't quite fit into that neat online box? Maybe you owe more than 30 grand or you've accidentally missed that 60-day window. Don't panic. It doesn't mean you can't get a plan. It just means you have to take a different route. Your next step is to call HMRC Self-Assessment Payment Helpline directly and talk to an advisor. And look, it's not an interrogation. It's a negotiation to create a plan that works for you.
Okay. So whether you're applying online or getting ready for that phone call, the whole process is so much smoother if you're prepared. It's really not as scary as it sounds when you have everything you need to hand. Now let's look at the next step and break down exactly what you'll need.
What's great about this is that it really puts you in the driver's seat. You're the one proposing the plan. So, to get started, you'll need a few key things: your unique taxpayer reference, your UTR, and your UK bank details to set up the direct debit. Pro tip: Also have a simple summary of your monthly income and outgoings ready. This helps you propose a realistic payment that HMRC is much more likely to accept. Once you have that, just log into your government gateway account and follow the simple on-screen steps.
And just as a quick reference, here's how that tax bill gets calculated in the first place for the 2025/26 tax year. Understanding these bands really helps demystify how your total income turns into the tax you owe. Remember, you don't pay, say, 40% on all your income, only on the bit that falls into that specific band. And a quick but very important note for our viewers in Scotland. Your tax bands and rates are different, so please be sure to check the specific Scottish rates.
Setting up a plan is a huge step forward, but the journey doesn't just end there. To make sure your plan actually succeeds, you need to avoid a few common traps that can unfortunately derail all your progress. That's not all. Here's where most people go wrong, so listen closely.
Right. This is probably the single most important pitfall to avoid. That 60-day window to use the easy online service, it's strict. If you miss it, you lose the option for that quick, self-serve setup and you're forced into a potentially trickier phone negotiation with HMRC. Acting fast is your biggest advantage here. Seriously, set a calendar reminder right now if you need to.
And here are a few other crucial traps. First, be brutally realistic about your monthly payment. If you overcommit and then default, HMRC can just cancel the whole plan. Second, and listen closely to this one, do not forget about payments on account. Think of these as advance payments towards your next tax bill. If your bill is over £1,000, HMRC just assumes next year will be similar and asks for a down payment. It's often a 50% chunk due in January and another 50% in July. It can be a real shock, so make sure you factor that into your budget. Finally, never ignore HMRC letters and always keep great records. It's the best way to keep your bill low in the first place.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? Why unexpected bills happen, the serious cost of doing nothing, and how this time-to-pay lifeline works. So let's bring it all together and talk about turning that initial moment of heart-stopping panic into a concrete, actionable, and, empowering plan.
If you take only one thing away from this today, let it be this. The moment you know you might struggle to pay is the moment to act. Being proactive is your ultimate strategy. It shows HMRC you're being responsible, it stops all those penalties and interest from escalating, and most importantly, it's about taking the power back from the stress and putting it firmly back in your own hands.
Now, while this guide covers the essentials for pretty much everyone, your financial situation is unique. Your business, your income, your personal circumstances, they all play a part. So for tailored advice that really fits your specific needs, talking to a professional is always the smartest move. The experts at ProTax Accountant can help you navigate this entire process with confidence.
And getting in touch is super easy. Whether you need an expert to help negotiate with HMRC for you, or you just want to plan ahead to avoid surprises next year, the ProTax Accountant team is ready to help. You can reach out directly using the WhatsApp, phone, or email on screen for a consultation.
We really hope this has helped demystify payment plans and given you the confidence you need to take action. If you found this valuable, please be sure to subscribe to the ProTax Accountant YouTube channel. They're always posting clear, practical advice just like this to help you master your taxes. Thanks so much for joining us.